Good afternoon, grade 10s. It's me, Mr. Hector Nkosi again. Today we'll be looking at mathematics grade 10. I hope you had the fantastic weekend. I hope you managed to study everything that we covered last week. So from last week, we were busy on Friday, not on Friday, but on Thursday. We were busy with equations. So even today, we'll be looking at equations. We'll be looking at more complex questions on equations. But before we do that, I just need to recap some few things with you as normal. Just a second, okay. So if you've got any queries, guys, remember, please email me at nkosihector28@gmail.com. We're still under consolidated questions, terms one's work, but we're looking at more complex questions. Today we'll be looking at November 2017. On Thursday, we looked at November 2018 paper 1 question 2. But today we'll be looking at November 2017 paper 1 exam DBE question 2. So this is the recap that I did with you on Thursday. So all of these things we have covered so far. We have covered the trinomials. We've covered the groupings in pairs. We've covered the sum and difference of two squares, the difference of two squares, or the sum and difference of two cubes, then difference of two squares. We've covered the algebraic expression, simplification of fractions, multiplication of binomial by a trinomial. We've covered exponents. So why I highlighted in blue, it's because I wanted to show you guys that we are still doing equations, right? So, I mean, maths, it's one of that subject that you have to practice now and then. You can't just relax after doing one sum and think you are fine. You have to do lots and lots of questions. Yes, Molly, I can see you. You have raised your hand. I'll be with you now. Yes, Molly.
I made a mistake.
Oh, okay, no problem.
What are you doing here, Cece? Just came to get you.
Okay, cool. Let's go to today's worksheet and see how we're going to solve the following equations. So I just need to stop sharing, then reshare again. Okay. Okay, guys. So today we're looking at different questions. It's still under solve for X. We are still doing equations, but different sums. We're doing complex questions and stuff like that. Please feel free to ask if you've got any problem. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to take you step by step. Okay, so now let's look at question 2.1. It says given 4 minus 2x less than 16, where x is the element of real numbers, right? Now, guys, this is very important. They're telling you that x is the element of real numbers, right? So I just want to ask you a question. What do they mean when they say x is the element of real numbers, basically, right? Okay, I see some chats. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, I just need to read the comments. Guys, trigonometry, it's terms two's work, right? Please, please, please stick to that, guys. We can't start with term two's work. We haven't opened yet at school. You haven't started term two. You don't know that your term two might start in September or in August. It will depend on the lockdown, guys. So now we need to make sure that terms one's work, you are comfortable with it, because so far this is what you will be tested on. Does it make sense? Perfect. Okay. So it says 2.11, solve the inequality. Okay. So now I want to show you how to do this one. So basically, it says to you 4 minus 2x less than 16, right? So now you have to transpose 4 to the other side, right? So now you're going to have negative 2x less than 16. So when you transpose 4 to the other side, it will be a negative, the sign it will change. Therefore, you're going to have negative 2x, it's less than 12, because 16 minus 4, it's 12. Then you must divide by negative 2 both sides, because the question said solve for x. So you must divide by negative 2, negative 2. Now, here was the tricky part here, is that now 12 divided by negative 2, it's negative 6. However, the sign, it will change, guys. Remember here it was less than, but now because you have divided with a negative number, the sign will always change to the other side. So it will be x is greater than negative 6. I hope it makes sense. Please don't forget that this was the tricky part here, where you divide by a negative number, the sign changes. Does it make sense, guys? So your x is greater than negative 6. Then it says to you 2.1.2, hence, meaning now the answer that you got in 2.11, use it in 2.12. It says, hence, represent your answer to question 2.11 on a number line. So you must represent your answer in question 2.11 in a number line. So basically here, we need to draw our number line and see and represent our answer. So our answer basically here, it said x is greater than negative 6. We know, guys, if something that is greater than negative 6, which means x, it's more than negative 6. What is more than negative 6? It can be negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 when you draw your number line. Remember, you can't say negative 7 is greater than negative 6. Actually, negative 7, it's less than negative 6. Does it make sense? I hope you still remember your integers from grade 7, 8, 9, right? So now, how are you going to represent this one? You're going to say, okay, here's my negative 6, but the arrow must go on your right-hand side, because it said x is greater than negative 6. Anything that is greater than negative 6, it's this side, guys, right? And because remember, you don't have to shade your circle here. You only shade if it was greater than or equals to. But if it was just greater than or less than, you don't shade this circle, this small circle. I hope it makes sense. Okay, let me look at the chats. Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, cool. I can see Molly. Okay, I can see Miss P. I can see Oli. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Perfect. All right. I can see Balisa. So Balisa, she's asking, oh, Oli says, sorry, can you please re-explain the shading of the circle? So Oli, the shading of the circle, if it was greater than or equals to, if it had greater than or equals to, you always shade the circle. But if it was just greater than or it was just less than without the equals to, you do not shade the circle. I hope it makes sense, right? Okay, cool. Perfect, Oli. I hope you understand now. Okay. Palisa, she's asking, is there a need for a zero? Yes, there is a need for a zero because now, remember, you just need to show where is your timeline going. Basically from -6 going to the right-hand side, that's where your 0 goes and your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you go from -6 to the left-hand side, it's going to be your -7, -8, -9, and -10. I hope it makes sense, Palisa. Okay, cool. Yes, Miss P, we are not in term 2 yet. We haven't, like, guys, please, it must stick into your mind. We haven't started with term 2 yet, right? Remember when the minister announced on Thursday, said, we don't know what the future holds, guys. So you might open the schools in October. You'll be tested in the things that you have done so far. It depends on the situation. I don't want to be ahead while those things you won't cover them in an exam. I hope you were watching the minister's speech on Thursday. Does it make sense, guys? We are not in terms 2 yet. You are only going to start with your term 2 when you go to school. Does it make sense? That's your new term, but you haven't started any term, guys, yet. I hope it makes sense. Okay, cool. So for now, guys, the things that you'll be tested on, it's terms 1's work. Those are the things that you'll be tested on so far. Even if you go to school in November, your November exam, you'll be tested on terms 1's work, right? Yes, basically whenever you go to school, that's where the new term will start, Miss P. Guys, can we please keep our comments to the relevant questions? Please don't ask about the admin and stuff, right? So please keep the comments on whether you understand the questions or not. Does it make sense? Please keep it clear. Thank you. Right. Let's look at 2.2. It says to you solve simultaneously for x and y. So this one, we did it on Thursday. It says -2x minus y is equals to 10 and 3x minus 4y is equals to -4. Remember, guys, now the simultaneous equation is when you solve for x and y using two equations. Remember, there are so many methods you can use here. You can use the elimination method. I know other schools, I'm sure they are using the elimination method. I mostly prefer the substitution method. It's up to you guys, right? Whichever one that's going to work for you, use it, right? You don't have to follow what I'm doing, but you might use what I'm doing to make you understand more. Okay, cool. I see some more comments here. Okay. Okay. So basically, in this lesson, we're not going to demonstrate all the methods, guys. Stick to the method that you are comfortable with. I am going to show you the substitution, guys. And if it does not make sense, maybe tomorrow I can show you the elimination method. But I like the substitution because it's easy and straightforward, right? So there are so many methods you can use, guys. I mean, if I were to show you all the methods, we'll finish the simultaneous equation next week. There are so many ways to kill a cat. So it's up to you which one you want to use. Whatever methods I'm showing you here, guys, are the methods that I want you guys to be comfortable with and that I feel like it's easier to grasp them. Does it make sense? Perfect. Okay, cool. So now let's look at this one. So we're given 3x minus 4y is equals to -4. This will be denoted by equation 1. Then there is also negative 2x minus y is equals to 10. This will be given as equation 2. So here we have named our equations, right? Then now, equation 3, you must make an unknown the subject of the formula. So we are developing new equation of which is equation 3. So we developed equation 3 from equation 2. Basically, when you transpose y to the other side, it will be positive y. When you take 10 to the other side, it will be negative 10. So equation 3, it will be negative 2x minus 10 is equals to y. So this is your equation 3. So you've made y the subject of the formula, meaning where there is y, you can substitute by negative 2x minus 10. However, because this is based on equation 2, you cannot substitute y in your equation 2. However, you have to substitute it in equation 1. Does it make sense, boys and girls? Okay, that's perfect. Right. Then now, what I did here, guys, was substitute equation 3 into equation 1. So basically here, what I'm doing, I'm saying 3x minus 4. So where there is y, you must put negative 2x minus 10, close bracket, is equals to negative 4. Therefore, you're going to have 3x plus 8x plus 40 is equals to negative 4, right? And we know that 3x plus 8 is what? Is 11x. Then you transpose 40 to the other side, it becomes negative 40. So 3x plus 8x is 11x, not 13x, guys, but 11x is equals to negative 44x because it's a negative and negative. So negative 4 and negative 40 is 44, right? So because the question said solve for x and y, so here we are looking for x, you must divide by 11. What you do on your left-hand side, you must also do on your right-hand side. So divide by 11 both sides. So x will be equals to negative 4 because 11 into negative 44, it's negative 4. So now we have found our x. X is equals to negative 4. Now we need to solve for y. Does it make sense? Now, if you want to solve for y, it's easy because now you've got x. Does it make sense? So if we are solving for y now, you must substitute x is equals to negative 4 into equation 3. So now you've got negative 2. Where there is x, you must put negative 4. Minus 10 is equals to y. We know that negative 2 times negative 4. Negative times a negative, it's a positive, so it's 8 minus 10 is equals to y. Therefore, 8 minus 10, it's always negative 2. Always take the sign of the bigger number, of which is 10, and you subtract. So 8, the sign of the bigger number is negative 10. So it's negative 10 minus 8, it's 2. So negative 2 is equals to y. So now you have solved for x and y. Can you see why I love this method? It's easy and straightforward. So you got your x is negative 4, whereas your y is negative 2. Perfect. Okay. Okay, that's perfect, guys. Now, let's look at the next question. Now, let's look at 2.3. It says solve for x. Now you're just solving for x. It says x, open bracket, x minus 5, close bracket, over 6, negative 1 is equals to 0. Right. Now, these are the fractions, guys. Remember, we're doing the simplifications of fractions all along. So they always come here in your solve for x. So how you need to do this one, guys, now, it's very easy and straightforward. So what you need to do is to remove the brackets first. So x times x, it's x squared. X times negative 5, it's negative 5x. Does it make sense? Over 6, you can take 1 to the other side and transpose it. And when you transpose this negative 1, because this negative 1 is not part of the fraction, it's on its own. So it's easier to take it to the other side. And when you take it to the other side, it will become a positive 1. Then now, you must apply this thing that is called a cross multiplication. So now you must cross multiply here. So 6 times 1 is 6. Therefore, you're going to, so when you cross, this is a cross multiplication, right? 6 times 1 is 6. So x squared minus 5x is equals to 6, right? Then now you have killed the fraction, right? Therefore, you're going to have x squared minus 5x minus 6. So when you take 6 to the other side, it will be what? It will be a negative because initially it was positive. So therefore, it is equals to 0 because they said solve for x. You are not simplifying. Now, remember, this is the method I showed you the other day, and I've been showing you this method from simplification and solving for x, right? First thing first, you must write factors or multiples of 6 here, right? You must look at your constant. Your constant is 6. So what numbers can you multiply and give you 6? It's 6 times 1 and it's 2 times 3. These are the only factors or multiples of 6. Does it make sense? However, you need to choose the one that will give you the middle term. What is your middle term? Your middle term is negative 5x. Remember, I love this method. I said, okay, x and x because there are two x's because it says x squared, right? Therefore, you're going to have x and x. So x multiplied. So which one are you going to take? I'm going to take this one, the 6 and 1, not 2 and 1. Why? Why I'm taking 6 and 1? Because my middle term is negative. Does it make sense, guys? If my middle term, it was 1, or yeah, if it was 1, this was going to work. But because my middle term, it's negative 5. So I can say negative 6 and 1. It can give me negative 5. So 2 and 3, it won't work. But however, 6 and 1, it will work. So how I did it, I said x multiplied by negative 6. Because remember, the bigger number must take the sign of the middle term. What is the middle term? What is the sign of the middle term? It's negative. And what is the bigger number? It's 6. What is the bigger number between 6 and 1? It's 6. So now I have to say x multiplied by negative 6, right? Then here it will be x times 1. So x, negative 6x plus 1x. It will give me what? Negative 5x. And therefore, this is the middle term, which means now these factors, they do work out. Does it make sense? Then you take your answer as it is, x plus 1 and x minus 6 is equals to 0. Therefore, when you transpose to the other side, it will be x is equals to negative 1, because 1, when you take 1 to the other side, it will be negative 1. When you take 6 to the other side, it will be a positive 6. So x is equals to negative 1 or x is equals to 6. I hope it makes sense. I see a comment. Let me just go check. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's perfect. Okay, now let's look at the second one. The second one now says to you, C is equals to all root A plus 2x. So basically here, guys, you must solve for x, but you are given C all root A plus 2x, which means you must solve for x. So let's see how we can do this one, right? So how we can do this one, how I did it like this, and I hope it's going to make sense. So basically this one, guys, it was given as C is equals to all root A plus 2x. So now, remember, if you want to remove the square root, you must square both sides, right? You must square both sides. So you must square on your left and also square on your right. Does it make sense, guys? Therefore, you're going to have C squared is equals to A plus 2x because you have squared. So remember, the squared kills the square root. We all know by that. We all know that by now, guys. Does it make sense? Therefore, your answer, it will be c squared is equals to a plus 2x. But remember now, guys, the question said solve for x, right? Therefore, you must transpose a to the other side, right? So it's going to be c squared minus a, because a here, it was positive. So when you transpose it to the left-hand side, it will be negative, right? Then you'll be left with 2x, but the question said solve for x, not solve for 2x. Therefore, now you must divide by 2 both sides. What you do on your right, you must also do on your left-hand side. So divide by 2, divide by 2. Therefore, x is equals to c squared minus a over 2. This is your answer, guys. I hope it makes sense. I hope you understand this by now. Okay. Yes, Letabo, that's correct. If you want to remove the square root, you must always square, right? But this works in an equation. So if you want to, if it says something is equals to a square root of something, if you want to remove that square root, you must always square both sides. That's perfect, right? Okay, cool. Miss P, I don't get your question. You're saying, is there any other method to do this, or is the only one? Which sum are you talking about? Please be specific, guys, when you're asking your questions, guys, because I'm reading at your comments. Okay, let me see, Dilo. So it doesn't work when it's not an equation. Yes, basically it doesn't work when it's not an equation, because now what you do on your left, you must also do on your right. So, and remember, in an equation, that's the only case where you're going to have left-hand side and right-hand side. Does it make sense? Please be specific, Miss P. When you say previous sum, which one? There are so many previous sums we did. I'm just gonna back to the actual question. Which one? Previous sum, we started from 2.1. Please be specific which one, guys. There are so many previous sums we did. Does it make sense? How to solve the power of 2. Which 2, okay. Windows, please be specific also. You're saying how to solve the power of 2. Which power of 2? Please be specific, guys. Okay. 2.3. Oh, you're saying, okay, 2.3.1. Okay, I'm going to go back to 2.3.1. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So now let's look at the 2.3.1, okay, let me go to the workings for 2.3.1. So here's the 2.3.1. Okay, let me try to re-explain it again. Okay, so here, guys, we're given x, open bracket, x minus 5, close bracket, over 6, negative 1 is equals to 0. Does it make sense? So now you must remove your brackets first. So x times x, it's x squared. X times negative 5, it's negative 5x over 6. Now, you must transpose 1 to the other side, guys, right? Because now it's negative 1. Why are you transposing 1 to the other side? Because it's a standalone term, guys. It's not part of the fraction. So you can transpose it to the other side so that you can do the cross multiplication, right? Therefore, you're going to have x squared negative 5x over 6 is equals to 1, because previously on the other side your 1 was negative, but now will be positive because you have transposed. Therefore, you must cross multiply, guys. You must cross multiply. Here we're doing what? The cross multiplication. 6 times 1 is 6, right? So your 6 will be here. Therefore, it's going to be always here, guys. A number, it's always over 1. So if it's 1, it's always 1 over 1. So x squared minus 5x, it's always times your denominator, your invisible 1 denominator here that is sitting here, if I can put it like that, right? Because if 1 it's standing on its own, it's always 1 over 1, and 1 over 1, it's 1. I hope it makes sense, right? Therefore, now you're going to have your x squared minus 5x is equals to 6 because you have multiplied your 6 by 1. So you have killed your fraction now. Does it make sense? Therefore, x squared minus 5x, you must transpose 6 to the other side. And when you transpose 6 to the other side, it will be a negative 6 is equals to 0. Okay, I hope it makes sense so far. Okay, cool. Okay, Miss P is asking, this is the sum I was talking about. I'm saying, is there other way to solve for it, or is the method of cross multiplication the only way? No, there are other methods you can solve for x, guys, right? So it's up to you which one you want to use. Yeah, which one you want to use, right? So there are so many methods to use, guys. You do not have to stick to my method, right? But this is the most simplest method. It's the try and error method, guys. It's the one I try by all means to make you guys to understand, right? Okay, that's perfect. Kalam, do it like a normal trinomial. Yes, that's perfect. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, cool. I hope I've answered your questions, guys. Okay, that's perfect. Then remember now you must solve for a trinomial, guys. Remember, okay, it's x and x, and you must write the multiples of 6, 6 and 1, 2 and 3. I've already explained this one. I hope it makes sense. Solving for x, this one, I hope it makes sense. I'm sure you guys were having a problem here on top, but to solve for x, it should be a problem. But if you still have a problem, please let me know of how to solve for x using this one. But there are so many methods. At home, you can try the method that you've learned at school and see whether you're going to arrive to x is equals to -1 and x is equals to 6. I hope it makes sense. I see another chart. Okay. I can try to look at another method, Tino. Yes, Tino Vimba, tomorrow, because now I've written everything here on the board and I've already scanned the document. So I will try to put another method tomorrow so that you can see another different method, because now everything has been written for you here. So it's impossible for me to write another method now at this point in time, as I don't have a board with me. I hope it makes sense. Okay, cool. Let's move to another one. Luanele Nkosi say, why does the final sign change? Please be specific, guys. Which sign are you talking about? Which question are you talking about? Please be specific when you are asking your questions, guys. There are so many sums we have done so far. Be specific. Does it make sense? Always be specific to what, okay? The one highlighted in yellow. There are so many that are highlighted in yellow, guys. There are so many that are highlighted in yellow. Everything here, it's highlighted in yellow, guys. Which one are you talking about? Which question are you talking about? Please, guys, please be specific, maybe 2 point what, so that I can go to that question. Because now when you say the one highlighted in yellow, there are so many sums that we are doing here. So if you are not specific to which question, it's difficult for me also to sort of figure out what you're talking about. Does it make sense? Perfect. Okay, I think you've been helped, Alwande. Okay. Oh, okay. So guys, you guys are speaking with 2.3.1. So basically, remember, you're transposing 1 to the other side. So when you transpose 1 to the other side, where there is 0, it's x is equals to -1. When you transpose 6 to the other side, x is equals to 6. Does it make sense? Okay, that's perfect. I hope you guys are being helped and I hope you understand everything now. Okay, cool. Let's look at the last one. This is the most challenging question and we call these word sums, guys. I'm sure majority of you have seen such questions, or some of you, it will be first time seeing the questions, this question, but sometimes in maths, they like to throw in word sums, right? So word sums, guys, are very important. It tests your maths knowledge, right? Very, very important thing, right? So it says to you, Tabelo is currently 4 times as old as his daughter, right? Which means Tabelo is the father, right? But is 4 times as old as his daughter, Linda. So the daughter is Linda, the father is Tabelo. 6 years from now, Tabelo will be 3 times as old as Linda. So in 6 years from now, so in 6 years' time, Tabelo, the father, will be 3 times as old as the daughter. Calculate Linda's age currently. Now we want to know how much Linda is currently. Does it make sense if I can put it like that? Guys, you have to understand these. These are word sums. You have to be able, it's still solved for X. Basically, you are solving for Linda's age, but in a form of a word sum. So it's very important to understand your word sums. So now let's look at this one. How I did it in my workings. I was like, okay, 2.4. Okay, I said, let Linda's age now be X. So you can use X, you can use any variable. You can use A, you can use Z, you can use Q. It's up to you guys, right? I used X basically, right? You can use any variable. You can use A, you can use B, you can use C, you can use letter D, letter E, letter F. It's up to you, right? So I know majority of you, but say why we're saying X, right? So it's up to you which variable, because Linda's age is it's an unknown, right? You just want to know how much Linda is, but for now you're going to denote it by an unknown. So your unknown, it can be anything. It's just that we can't write Linda, or you can use L for Linda. So I hope it makes sense, right? Then my bullet number 2, it says, therefore, Tabelo's age is 4x, because we were told here that currently is 4 times as old as his daughter. So it's going to be 4 times x, because if for example, Linda is 10 years old now, Tabelo, which means will be 40 years old, the dad, because 4 times old as the daughter. Does it make sense? So which means it will be 40. I'm just making a practical example. I haven't started explaining yet. Does it make sense, boys and girls? Okay, cool. So now, let's look. So we said, therefore, Tabelo's age is 4x, because now we don't know the age of Linda yet, because we have denoted the age of Linda by X. Then bullet number 6, we said 6 years later, Linda's age will be X plus 6. Does it make sense? Because now we said Linda's age is denoted by X plus the 6 in 6 years later. Does it make sense, boys and girls? Because currently we didn't know what age is Linda. Does it make sense? Then bullet number 4 now, I said Tabelo's age will be now 4x plus 6, because we are adding what? We are adding this 6 years. Because if you look here, it says 6 years from now, Tabelo will be 3 times as old as Linda, right? So now we took the 4 times as the daughter, of which is X, plus the 6 years from now. So basically, you have to solve for X, or you have to solve for the unknown. What I did here, I said 4x plus 6, of which is this one, right? The Table's age now, right, is equals to 3 times as old as x plus 6. What is x plus 6? Linda's age, right? It's x plus 6. But why are we putting 3? Because we were told that in 6 years' time, Tabelo will be 3 times old as Linda. Does it make sense? So therefore, you're supposed to equate these two and solve for x. Therefore, it's going to be 4x plus 6. 3 times x, it's 3x. 3 times 6 is plus 18. Therefore, you must group all the x's to the other side, all the numbers to the other side. So 4x minus 3x is equals to 18. When you transpose this positive 6 to the other side, it will be negative 6. Therefore, x is equals to 12 because 4x plus negative 3x is x, basically. 18 minus 6 is 12. Therefore, Linda's age is 12 years. I hope, guys, it makes sense. This is one of the common questions. They love such questions, right? They love this questions. Okay, guys, we are 5 minutes, 5 minutes left. Okay, let me see questions. Okay, 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 cool. It seems like you guys are understanding everything. Okay, that's perfect. So the answer is 12. That's perfect, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep well.